Sabine, thank you very much for your interesting keynote today.
Thank you for having me. It was a very good opportunity and exactly what we're trying to do, reaching out. So going across the disciplines and involving other people and engaging with them.
I have 5 short questions for you. So my first question is, what are your thoughts on e-democracy and open government in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, I think both stand for a new relationship between citizens and government and a way for engaging differently with government services and possibly new responsibilities on both sides.
What does open mean to you?
Open, first and foremost, means to me a new kind of trust fostered through transparency. But open means also being open-minded about looking at issues and processes and services and even policies in a different light. So that means that there is a task for people inside government to check their approaches and generate new possibilities for how to engage and interact with citizens. But it also means, frankly, on the other end, an openness among citizens to reflect on their role in a modern, contemporary government that works differently with hopefully better services, but that will demand different actions and behaviors from the citizens.
What is a good practice in e-democracy or open government?
I would say the good practice or a good practice is for sure when people inside government or whoever is working on open government is reaching out actively and engaging actively with people outside of their own working group. When, let's say, people go out on the streets and observe, people go and develop relationships with citizens and people to understand, to allow them to work, to observe them, with their daily situations and problems, so that there is a trust relationship through which they can learn insights and relevant issues that then form the backbone and basis for the kinds of services that we can develop. And these kinds of services that we then can develop, of course, also help us understand how does the organization have to restructure itself, what must happen within the organization to even enable, support, and facilitate those kinds of services.
And what about the opposite question? What is a bad practice in e-government or open government?
A bad practice is when e-government and open government are used as shields to create a barrier between citizens and government. I'm going back to that letter of citizen participation that I mentioned in my talk from Sherry Arnstein. She was very disappointed and disillusioned by this idea of open or participatory government because she understood that much of this can also be used in a way to push the citizen into a given role, to use digital services to not engage with the citizen, but rather to basically just say, here, take it, and do it yourself. And that's not what I would like to see as an open government. There are moments and situations where citizens are perfectly happy with a service that doesn't demand anything from them other than, here, that's what you need, fill it out and you're done. But there are situations, and I'm looking at it from a design perspective, where I would say, there are situations where you can create a great design experience, a great service, let's say, around a policy that in itself is very questionable and possibly harmful. And then when that is the point of digital government or open government, then I think we missed it.
What will we be discussing at this conference in 2028, so in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, we will definitely talk about artificial intelligence. We will talk about what kind of government services can be left to even, what is it called, artificial brains. I just read an article on artificial brains, be that artificial intelligence in one form or another, but where some kind of services can be provided in a meaningful and trustworthy and transparent way by some kind of artificial intelligence version. And this does not have to be a scary vision as long as people know that that's who they're coping with. I think the challenge that we have is to be clear and honest and allow people to understand what is going on. And if they don't want to talk to someone who's an artificial intelligence bot or whatever that is, then they should be able to have an alternative choice. But those cases then will probably be manageable because the workload for these individuals will go down.
Thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you too.